The motor with burnt copper wires, does it still have repair value? In most places, no one would bother fixing it. They'd simply tell you to buy a new one. But in Pakistan, after an impressive repair by skilled craftsmen, the motor can be restored to its factory performance. How do they manage to turn scrap into treasure? The answer lies in this repair shop in Karachi, where today's motor is the main star of the show. Due to its old age and heavy use, the motor eventually burned out. After removing the end caps on both sides, the craftsman found the copper wires had burned black. To repair the motor, the first step is to remove all the damaged copper wires, then replace them with new ones to complete the restoration. Since these skilled craftsmen repair several motors in a day, removing the copper wires is a simple task for them, requiring just a pair of pliers to get the job done. Once the copper wires are removed, the next step is cutting the insulation paper. The insulation paper is an important component installed in the slots to prevent direct contact between the copper wires and the slots. After cutting the insulation paper, it needs to be inserted into the slots, ensuring that each slot has a properly folded piece of insulation. If the copper wires come into direct contact with the slots, it could cause a short circuit, but the insulation paper effectively prevents this. With the insulation in place and the old copper wires no longer usable, the craftsman uses a winding machine to form the new copper wires into coils. During this process, consistent pressure must be maintained to avoid over-tightening or loosening the wires, preventing any gaps or uneven layers. Once the copper wire coils are prepared, they can be installed back into the slots. This step requires careful attention to ensure the insulation paper fully encloses the copper wires. The craftsman then uses a rubber mallet to gently tap the wires, making sure they fit snugly into the slots. After installing all the copper wire coils, insulation paper is again used to separate each coil, preventing electrical malfunctions. Since the motor vibrates during operation, the craftsmen also use nylon string to secure the coils in place, ensuring stable motor performance. Next, the copper wires are sorted out and encased in insulation tubes to prevent direct contact with the motor casing. Once everything is neatly arranged and wrapped, the final step is to apply insulating varnish to the coils. The varnish forms a protective, even layer over the copper wires, preventing current from leaking between them and avoiding short circuits or electrical breakdowns. With this, the motor repair is nearly complete. The end caps and rotor are then reinstalled, which is a straightforward process, just placing them back in position and tightening the screws. Afterward, the electrical wires are connected, following the simple rule of reattaching the wires in the reverse order of how they were removed. Finally, to ensure everything is in working order, the craftsman conducts a power test. Only after the motor passes this test is it considered fully repaired. It's truly impressive praise for the craftsmanship of these Pakistani repair experts.